Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Obligatory Games Podcast. I'm Michael. I'm joined here by Jordan.
As always, hello.
As always, except for when he's not here.
Yes.
Today, we're doing Nintendo Direct predictions. We know that there's going to be one in June.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we actually 100% know this time around because they announced it last month.
Yeah, they're like, hey, there's going to be one in June. We won't tell you when, but it's going to be in June.
Right. And so here we are to make some general guesses, maybe talk about where we feel Nintendo is right now in terms of everything. And I guess we'll just jump right into it. So for starters, let's talk about what we can pretty much guarantee is going to be there.
Mm.
And number one, this is what's not going to be there. It's Switch 2.
Yeah, it's like we know that's not going to show up at all because they said they're not going to show it there.
Right. In that announcement, they said the Switch successor console, it won't be there. Don't ask about it, basically.
Like, shut up about it. We don't, like, that's later.
That's later. Sometime before March 2025, I think is like
the next
deadline.
fiscal year.
Yep. So no Switch 2. That kind of sucks. I was sort of expecting the Switch 2. I think on our last podcast we've discussed this, how I thought it would launch this year. Now we're looking more at 2025 probably at the earliest. That's unfortunate. So no Switch 2, no game announcements for Switch 2 unless there's some like cross-platform thing that they'll just probably announce the Switch version and then later the Switch 2 version.
That's my guess.
I think Luigi's Mansion 2 might get a mention at this just because, outstanding games that have not released yet that they could say and be on the lookout for, in one of the sizzle reel maybe sort of things. Because that comes out this month, but it's like real tail end.
Yeah, like right at the very end of the month.
And I suspect this Direct will be in like a week or two, maybe. Maybe we can speculate on dates. Not that like that really matters at all or is all that important, but I figure that this will factor into it in some small way. By that same token, I have Nintendo World Championship down as something they could talk about.
Yeah.
We got that initial reveal trailer, and to be fair, it doesn't seem like there's a lot more to say about it.
Yeah, maybe like a couple extra games that are going to be in the thing.
Yeah, they could do that, right? Reveal a few more games. But it's a very straightforward concept, it seems. Maybe they'd want to show a little bit more of the online off. Maybe they'd want to announce that, hey, if you're in a top 10 players will be selected for the next Nintendo World Championship thing.
Actual,
the in-person one.
In-person tournament, yeah.
They could do something like that because I think that releases in July. So I think that's all the first-party stuff that we know of that hasn't come out yet. Am I correct there?
Well, there is the Pokemon Legends of AZ.
That's true.
But I think that's not supposed to come out until next year.
And I would almost expect that to make its next appearance in a Pokemon centric.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. But
Pokemon
there's a possibility.
Sure. I think there's been a handful of Pokemon announcements at previous Directs. I can't remember. Is this because this was like taking the place of E3? Yeah, and in previous years, there's sort of been a Pokemon Presents nearby the E3 Nintendo Direct.
So they might do one maybe next month or something.
Yeah, that's totally possible. I guess that's something to think about too. I don't know. That's sort of where we are though, as far as things that we know about already.
Right.
And now we get into the wild speculation mode where we're just guessing.
We're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what's going to stick.
I'm going to throw some out there, and maybe we can trade off, and so on and so forth. But the first prediction that I have is I'm calling this Mario Kart 8 style DLC. By that I mean it's a game that's been out for ages now, and hey, now it's getting a DLC update for some reason. Because 8 Deluxe, was that 2 years ago now that they decided to, 5 years into the game being released, they're like, okay, now it's time for 48 new courses. Bizarre. I don't know what game they could do this with. My personal hope, this probably would never happen, but like Mario Odyssey DLC, I've been hoping for Mario Odyssey DLC since it was announced pretty much.
Yeah, since day one of the game.
Yeah, so... that'd be really cool. I think they already said Tears of the Kingdom will not be getting any sort of DLC.
Yeah, which is interesting because Breath of the Wild did.
It did, yeah. So. I don't know what the reticence with doing Tears DLC is exactly.
Yeah.
Ionuma's kind of said we've done everything we can, but for every indication, and this is getting a little off topic, but every indication is that the next Zelda game will be in the style of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom anyway.
So it's like, have you actually done everything that you
Yeah,
want to do?
exactly.
I mean, they could also be holding it back for the next game.
Yeah, that for Breath of the Wild 3,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Sure, that's fair enough. But yeah, some sort of Mario Kart 8 style DLC is what I got down here. I don't think Smash would get any more DLC. I think that is done and dusted.
Yeah, that one had its own, because I think that one already had DLC. I don't think they would be like, oh, hey, we're doing more DLC.
Absolutely. Maybe if come Switch 2, if we get Ultimate Deluxe, that can get further DLC.
That can get the treatment then.
Yeah.
So I really only have like two main things that I can think of that I more so that I would want to see that I think would actually happen.
Sure.
My first big one is Xenoblade X.
Oh yeah, we're talking remasters of
Yeah.
games that have not made their way over from Wii U yet.
Because that's the only one. Cause this is stuff we talked about, like obviously off camera or off stuff before. Is that it's the only one that's currently stuck on a system that's not the Switch, and it absolutely desperately needs that remaster.
Absolutely. I think too now because there's that online component.
Yes.
And I only know about that really because there was that one user who's been hanging on to the servers somehow. I don't know how that works.
So there was two of them. Well, there's that one, and then there's another one where someone did basically was the last speed run with the online stuff that basically that broke the speedrun record, and is the last one that could do it because they did it right before the online shut down.
That's cheeky.
It's just amazing. I'm like, they're like, no one can do the speedrun ever again, and I was able to beat the last record, so I'm the forever holder.
Oh my god!
I don't know who that user is, but
that's
amazing.
Well, now we got to get a re-release just to
spite that dude.
Spite that guy. No, I agree, and it'd be perfect because, like you just mentioned, all three games are already on Switch, and the DLC for the second one is also physically released on Switch. I don't think they did that with 3s.
They did not do that with 3, which is interesting, but I mean, I wish they would have done it with 3 as well, but obviously I can't have any say in that.
It's still really cool, the idea of being able to pretty much own an entire series physically, even down to like the additional content, the downloaded content. So I would love to see that. I've heard a lot of interesting things about that.
And then the other thing too with Xenoblade X is that it had its downloadable data packs for the Wii U version.
Okay.
Basically, it's stuff that is either speed up some loading or do better textures and stuff like that.
Oh really?
For the physical, for the physical version, you had to download that. It was actually 10 gigs total.
Huh.
Yeah. Whereas with the digital version, obviously it was all together.
Oh, so now the physical version is forever kind of stuck in this
pretty much, unless you already download the packs ahead of time. I think you still might be able to, even with the shutdown, because they are all free.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure of the logistics of that.
Interesting.
Especially because I already have them downloaded, so I can't really delete them and test that again because you've re-downloading this thing.
I don't think I've ever heard of that with another Nintendo game.
Yeah, I think it's the only one.
That is really fascinating. Okay, yeah.
And especially with an actual cartridge release, they'd be able to actually slam it all into the cartridge versus having to download extra data packs and stuff.
I mean, we know Nintendo is not afraid to bring over their Wii U catalog onto Switch, so why not?
That's an understatement.
Right. Speaking of which, my next one, Zelda remasters.
Yeah.
In particular, I'm talking about Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, which I don't know how much stock I even place in rumors anymore these, but supposedly Twilight Princess HD at least has been in ready to release for a while now.
Interesting.
And I mean, I believe it. It would, I assume, would be a fairly straightforward port job. The Wolf Link amiibo already is content that can work for Switch because Switch has amiibo compatibility. I don't know. I don't know how popular Twilight Princess HD is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would warrant a physical release or more of a download sort of thing. But Nintendo usually wants to position these remasters as full releases, basically. Right. So I don't know.
I mean, even if they are a little bit on the cheaper price, Metroid Prime remaster was only $40.
For some reason, even though that's maybe the best remaster they've ever done. I mean, ideally, how I would like to see this handled is we get a twin pack. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD on a single cartridge. That's probably
not gonna happen.
Yeah, not going to happen, but it would be cool. Especially because they're already games that they've already gotten their makeover. You know what I mean?
So they don't need a remake over.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, they haven't had a Zelda game this year. Zelda's becoming more annualized.
Right, so they might as well.
Yeah, might as well. And I guess I'll just dovetail that into this one too, which is the other 2 Metroid remasters that have been rumored.
Same thing as well.
Again, how much stock you want to put in these rumors is up to you, but the rumor was that 2 and 3 were also remastered, but to a lesser extent than the first one.
Yeah, I think that would kind of make sense in my opinion.
It makes sense. It is a little bit disappointing just because that first remaster is so beautiful. It's like the best looking Switch game maybe. I'm trying to think of a nicer game visually, and I can't. And that you said that was your other one that you were...
Well, not my other one, but like I was like when I had mentioned earlier, I'm kind of like, that would also make sense. I probably should have included that in my as a third one instead of just the 2. My second one is kind of a wild card. So.
Okay, well we'll throw that one out there. I'm interested.
So it's still another in the line of like the remakes and ports.
Okay.
But Kid Icarus Uprising.
Sure.
On Switch.
Sure.
I have the actual dual stick.
Yeah. Right. It would be. That's one of the few Sakurai games I've not played.
Yes, and I love it. I mean, the control scheme is definitely very weird.
Sure.
I think it's reminiscent of Metroid Prime Hunters, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you move with the analog stick, and then you aim with the stylus.
Sure.
And especially with how frantic Uprising can get, it can get a little tiresome. Especially that's why they included the stand with it.
Yeah.
But it's a very fun game. I love it. The dialogue in it is hilarious.
We get hints of that in the Smash Ultimate thing because all of the Kid Icarus stuff is taken from Uprising, basically.
Yeah. Because the big thing is that there's very little in the way of actual cutscenes, but a lot of the dialogue is during the action.
Oh, sure.
So part of the way they do is that they'll just have the action on the top screen, then on the touch screen you'll see the subtitles for what they're saying, and obviously that's all fully voice acted and stuff.
Gotcha.
Too.
Do you think that it would make the transition from a 2-screen experience to a single screen?
I think it could. There's really nothing that screams like it has to be on a touch screen.
Okay.
Because you can easily have this stuff like at the bottom of the screen, for the subtitles and stuff. I've seen how the games usually happen, and then being able to move with the left stick and then aim with the right stick, and your traditional twin stick.
Sure.
I don't think it would be as snappy as with as the touchscreen, but I think it could still work pretty well.
That too, it's it feels sort of necessary because we don't have a Kid Icarus. We haven't had a Kid Icarus console game since the first one, right?
And we haven't had
sort of desperate need of it.
Yeah, because we haven't had an actual Kid Icarus game since Uprising.
Yeah, that too.
And then before that, it was the Game Boy game,
the Myths and Monsters,
which never even got a Japanese release.
Is it really?
Well, I don't think until the to Virtual Console, I think.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
I think it was North America and I think Europe only. I don't know. It might not have even gotten a European release. That I'm not sure about.
It's bizarre. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kid Icarus has been sort of underrepresented for a while.
You can definitely say that again.
For a classic Nintendo franchise like that. Especially one that actually has potential. Mm-hmm. It's not like Ice Climber. With what do you do with Ice Climber? Right. Kid Icarus has the potential for all these stories, and it can draw from all Greek mythology or whatever, right?
So now I'm expecting a very intense 1-to-1 ice climbing simulation game from
Ice
Nintendo.
Climber Sub-Zero.
Yeah, something like that. Where it's you can see their actual struggle and yes. you have to struggle to hitting the thing into the. The pike or whatever.
Is this going to be as dire as a Mount Everest expedition? You see all the bodies of the previous ice climbers.
That's what That's each of it is your previous attempt.
Yes. Well, now I want this actually.
I kinda, as soon as you said it's not ice climber, I'm I'm thinking about this would be weird, but I kind of want this now.
Hyper realistic ice climber. Okay, write that down. That's gonna happen.
Come on, Nintendo.
If there's anything ice climber now, I'm just gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, I know.
Keep it a little bit. Okay, moving on. I did put down other remasters here. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what else they would do. One that kind of comes to mind is Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah,
that's a weird example though because there already was a enhanced port for 3DS. It had new content, but of course in terms of graphical fidelity, it was a downgrade.
Right. Same with Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yeah, that too.
I think the first Donkey Kong Country Returns. I don't know if that had any extra content though.
I don't know if it had extra content. It was just more fun to play though, because the control scheme was better.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind them bringing that over to the Switch. Mm. That would actually be really. I prefer that one to Tropical Freeze a little bit actually.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I would like to see that actually. Yeah. Speaking of Donkey Kong, I don't know if you remember this, but
the 3D.
Yes, the rumored 3D Donkey Kong. Where is that? Is it real?
I'm like, how many years ago?
Yeah, there's like the Mario Odyssey dev team is developing a 3D Donkey Kong. Show me this game now.
Does it exist? Like, stop teasing us.
I don't. I'm kind of leaning towards it doesn't exist.
Yeah, especially because of how long it's been.
It's been so long, and like it was such a specific rumor. Like the Mario Odyssey team is working on the Donkey Kong thing, and since then there's not been really any extra rumors layered on top of that.
Yeah,
so.
It's just basically the one sentence essentially.
Exactly right. So I don't know if we're gonna get anything Donkey Kong related, but I don't expect the epic 3D Donkey Kong that we all kind of would like to see. The true follow-up to Donkey Kong 64, but this time it's fun.
Yeah,
it would be
like this time it's good.
This time it's good.
I say we're probably gonna get some flack about that.
Are we? I don't know. Donkey Kong 64. I feel like people.
I feel like there are still some supporters of it though.
Some supporters. Yeah. Those poor people. And here's one, and this kind of ties into like neglected franchises, I guess. Punch-Out. I think they could bring Punch-Out Wii. They could do a remaster, or they could do a whole new entry. I would like that. I don't know how they feel about the Punch-Out franchise.
Yeah,
like it's got some issues, like like towards people's sensitivities.
Yeah,
obviously
so they might want to hold off on.
I love Punch-Out though. It's one of my favorite franchises.
I think if they were to maybe I don't know, do something with like character stuff, like change that, but still keep this the core gameplay.
They definitely could. I mean, there is like sort of a route already within Punch-Out. You have these characters like King Hippo, who is not any particular kind of person. He's
just big.
He's just big. He's from Hippo Island, like in the lore,
and he doesn't even really look like a person anymore. He's like a kind of a blob.
There's only a few that are like really questionable. I think like Piston Honda is one of the main ones.
The main ones that I can think of.
I don't think anyone's really all that mad about Soda Popinski or stuff like that. I don't know. Is Glass Joe? Do people get up in arms about Glass Joe?
I mean,
he's one that definitely plays into a stereotype, like the weak Frenchman. I don't know. It's honestly a topic for another time, probably. But I could see routes though for them to take Punch-Out and present it in a way where, they don't run afoul of that sort of stuff. So I don't know. If they just wanted to port the Wii one though, and maybe they can avoid that. It's just a port.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that. I would just like to play more Punch-Out, please.
Right, we just need more Punch-Out.
Yes. So, and then the other one that sprang to mind. A Wario Land game, or some sort of Wario platformer.
Yeah, because it's been since the Wii.
Yeah, since Shake It. We never did get a follow-up to Wario World. I don't know if they'll ever do that.
Yeah, that might have just been a one-off.
It's an interesting game.
Yeah, from what I've heard.
I think that was developed by Treasure, actually.
Yeah, I think recall. So. That sounds right.
Which is a bit ironic.
Because Mario's all about that treasure.
Right. It's pretty cool. It's like kind of a side-scrolling beat 'em up mixed with platformer.
Interesting.
And it's an interesting one. I'd like to see them just port that.
Yeah.
Wario World HD, calling it now.
Yeah, come on.
That's one that no one's been thinking about.
Right.
But a new Wario Land game. I feel like I keep on retreating back into this, but if you don't want to make a new one, re-release the old ones.
Right.
I think Wario Land 4 might still be missing from Switch Online.
I think you're right.
I know some of them are.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't just have the whole Mario Land lineage up there yet. We only just got the first Mario Land.
Which is weird.
Bizarrely enough, and it was along with baseball and tennis or something like that.
I think Alleyway.
Alleyway. Oh yeah, baseball and Alleyway. Okay.
Cool. We're getting the launch titles.
Right.
Over a year after?
Oh my god. Nintendo, get your act together on that.
That's also another topic for
absolutely. Yeah, we'll write that down for a future episode. But I would like to see those kind of games come back. There's a whole bunch of games that they could make a HD release.
I've got one as well that would work perfectly for a dual pack as well.
Okay.
The Radiant collection for Fire Emblem.
Oh, so, sure.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn.
I mean, there have been rumors of some sort of Fire Emblem remake for a while. I think they focus on Genealogy of the Holy War, which is that the first one?
No, that's the second one on Super Famicom.
Okay.
After
Shadow Dragon? Or?
No, well,
I don't know.
So it was Mystery of the Emblem, which was a half remake of the original.
Yeah,
game.
I knew there was something like that.
Yeah, so it was Mystery of the Emblem, which is a half remake of the original game, and then like a sequel, which is weird because Shadow Dragon is a remake of the original game, and then New Mystery of the Emblem, which was a Japanese-only DS game, was a remake of Mystery of the Emblem.
Oh my god!
Which was a remake of the original game.
What on earth?
But anyways, it's the second game on it, and then there was another one which was a Nintendo Power game first, then got an actual cartridge released, which was Thracia 776.
Okay.
Which is like in between the two eras of Genealogy.
Okay.
Which, if you bring that up, I kind of hope they do like again like a 2-pack of that, or like a 2-in-1 where like you play through Genealogy, then get to like the time skip, and then like do like Thracia, and then go back to the rest of Genealogy.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would like whatever makes this less complicated for me to remember in the future.
Yeah, I don't, especially like the older ones, I don't know too much about. I do know Genealogy is like very, very like well received. But I know Thracia is like incredibly difficult from what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first Fire Emblem, it was just called Fire Emblem, right?
Yeah. Well, it was the what was it? It had like Shadow Dragon in the name.
Was it in the name? I played the Switch version
of that. It's
a
very long name though.
Okay.
Yeah, like whatever like Switch name is on the Switch, it's like that's the full name of the original game.
I just thought it was called Fire. I don't know. It was called Fire Emblem 35th or whatever in my mind.
Yeah,
whatever
it was like Blade of Shadow.
Oh yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh well, so maybe we get that.
Yeah, but no, the Radiant duology is especially perfect, especially if they're doing more like GameCube.
Yeah, which they do seem to be interested in that.
Yeah, and that's the perfect one, especially because of how pricey that game is too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like for both games are honestly.
Yep.
And if they do that collection, I would happily probably sell my copies of the games because I'd rather have the cheaper version that is like fully intact. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheaper version on modern hardware.
Oh yeah,
for sure. I only have one more thing written down, actually. And again, this is just me. I guess, like other possibilities before I get to this, they could invent a new IP, I guess. That doesn't feel exactly right because we are so close to the end of this generation. Like, is Nintendo really going to do a Splatoon situation again? Splatoon, always felt like, okay, if we can get this to take off a little bit on Wii U, then on our next console it doesn't suck. We'll be able to, make something out of it.
I don't think it's really it'd really be in the same position. Though.
Exactly, right? It's just a totally different ball game now with the Switch being so mega successful. So I don't think we'll see a new IP. I think they're going to really lean heavily on some third-party stuff and on back catalog remasters and that sort of thing. That's my main prediction. As far as like a brand new game goes, I couldn't even really begin to guess. I could always hope for another Mario, but again, seems too late in the. And like even Wonder felt like, whoa, this is like the last big Mario game, right, on Switch. And then now we're going on this extra year, it feels like, and it's like,
I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe they would, for some reason, remaster Galaxy 2.
I mean, it is missing in action, right? I guess I could see that. That's a good. Yeah,
either that or 3D Land.
3D Land, yeah. 3D Land's a weird one, isn't it? Like, in terms of, like, what do you do with a remaster of that? Because you can't really position it the same way you did 3D World.
No, because they're not, because 3D World kind of was meant to kind of supplant 3D Land in a way.
And in a lot of ways it does.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. There's like a couple Mario games that they could remaster if they really wanted to. New Super Mario Brothers Wii. When are they going to bring that one back?
Do a trilogy of the first three new Super games.
I would legitimately actually dig a New Super Mario Brothers 1 remake.
Yeah.
Like, that one is pretty good. Okay, here's my last one. You probably already know what it is. It is the yearly prediction.
All right, everyone, get your cope masks ready. Let's go.
Yep, Earthbound, Mother 3,
Yep.
You've like got to say it for some reason. I don't know why. Like every year, I'm like,
it's
I'm done wishing for Mother 3, and then it ends up on my list.
Every time we're disappointed.
Every time, yeah. If they do literally anything, if they're even like a series of stickers will be released to commemorate Earthbound's 30th anniversary, I'd be like, this is a win.
Yeah, it is the 30th anniversary this year. That's right.
Yeah. Which I think is why we got those Switch Online icons.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll officially bring the Mother 3 icons to the West.
They still not bring the actual game
not bring the game, but the icons. I don't know. Like, I think my dream for the series at this point, because I legitimately, like, deep down, I know that Mother 3 as a release is just very, very unlikely.
Yeah.
But a remake of Mothers 1 and 2, it seems like there's no reason it couldn't happen. Mm-hmm. I don't think Ichoi would have an issue with, like, a graphical update to those games necessarily.
But, like, still keep the same script and everything.
Exactly. Because he definitely doesn't want to write a new Mother entry. He's made that very clear.
I have a kind of idea that's tangentially related to this. Okay. So obviously, you do like the graphical remake. I would say maybe like the clay model
I think that's
stuff.
what everyone would want. Yeah.
And another interesting thing, this is probably even less likely.
Okay.
2 scripts.
Okay.
Not only have like the original American release, but also a more accurate original
translation. A new translation.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, interesting, because I mean, there was some controversy about like the translation changes in like Thousand Year Door.
Yeah,
but Earthbound is such a different situation because a lot of the humor is informed by like the localization process. So yeah, I think that would be. I don't think you want to ditch that original U.S. localization.
Because the original it's really good. It's so good, yeah.
But also a new, more modern retranslation would also be a lot of fun. So
a similar game, I think it was River City Girls 0 when that came out. That had 2 translations.
Really? Yeah. So it's been done before.
Yeah. So that one, because one of them is to tie it more into like the other River City Girls games. And then the second one was like an actual like original translation of like as is from the original game.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, I would love that.
And then also the Yakuza games, starting with Striven, I've done the 2 scripts kind of as well. Like because like when they started introducing the dubs again, so they had a dub script and like the actual like subtitle script.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of in the industry.
Right.
It's not really high up. It's not a very well done thing, but there is a precedent.
I could see him doing it just because Earthbound is so famous for its its
script.
Yeah. It's like the main thing people have to say about Earthbound is it's just a very funny
it's a very funny game.
And I think the original game also has an amazing dialogue and everything too. Any final thoughts about this June Direct? I mean, we could guess when it's going to happen. Right now we're sitting at June 6th.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think within 2 weeks, probably. Yeah. I don't think we'll get to the very end of the month.
No, because I think that'd be too late.
Yeah, exactly. But again, like, it doesn't really matter. It's going to happen at some point within the month. We know that much. I think from here, the most interesting thing is, like, okay, June Direct done. Mm-hmm. How soon till Switch 2 news? Because then, technically, it could get announced at any time.
Yeah.
My personal thoughts is it's going to be quite a while still before we hear anything.
I'd say maybe September, October.
That's exactly how I'm feeling. Yep. I think that would be ideal, and then maybe they'll aim for a similar launch window as the original Switch, like in March.
Wasn't like mid to late March?
I
don't remember.
It might be, but in my brain is telling me it was exactly March 3rd. I don't know if that's right at all.
Like, I know it's not going to be the 27th because
Let me do some research real quick.
Well, I know it's not the 27th because I can tell you right now that is the
that was right.
Was it March 3rd?
It was March 3rd.
Well, I'll say because March 7th was the original 3DS's launch.
Really? Okay,
March,
so well,
27th. Yeah.
Look, they like March.
Yeah, they could launch it in March.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks. Confirmed a March release date for Switch 2.
Oh, what day of the week was that ever launched on? Because it was a Friday. We could narrow down what March day it's going to be.
Well, let me think back to 2017. I believe that was a Friday.
Okay.
Yes. So a Friday.
So give me the Fridays in this upcoming March. We'll place our bets.
Okay. 1 second. So the Fridays of March, we got March 1st, March 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. 5 Friday. Or, wait. I'm a dumbass. That's Saturday. Fridays, 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. So, you said that the 3DS released on March 7th?
27th.
Oh, 27th. Oh.
So, like, that kind of... I see that shut down your idea.
Okay, 3 plus 7. Take the square root. I don't know. I think like a March 7th release seems totally reasonable.
Yeah.
A little bit, like 4 days to a, exactly from when the Switch launched.
I was thinking 14th personally.
The 14th?
Like in between the two, kind of.
All right. Well, whoever's right, the other one has to pay them $100. Mark my words.
Okay. However, what if they don't launch it at all in like this March? Or something March?
Then we pay each other $100.
Yes, like literally works.
All right. I think that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
Looking forward to this. We'll probably talk about the contents of this direct. Assuming it doesn't like totally, it's like not a nothing burger.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the contents of it after the fact. But for now, I think that's all we got to say.
Which is why we didn't even bring up the state of play, because that was...
the state of play, the state of Sony is it's a sad state.
Yeah,
indeed.
it's a very, very sad state.
Yep, I think that's all for us. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye.